What's up, fellow heroes? What's going on? I decided that I wanted to try and go ahead and make a video like this or do something new of the sorts. And really, I just want to talk about Loki. I've already got my thoughts out there before, whenever I talked about it on my podcast with Jeff. And you can see that, you want to check it out on Spotify or whenever in the Twitch below. Feel free to go do so. But I just wanted to talk about something that really intrigued me, and since Loki's over and given some time for people to go see it. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Go check out the show. It's a lot of fun, and if you're a fan of the Marvel stuff, you'll enjoy it. If you felt like you were getting burnt out from Marvel, I think what Loki really does is it kind of ignites that flame, because whenever with Endgame and Infinity War, you almost feel like, what else can they do? How else can they top that? And I think what Loki does really good is it gets you excited, and it sets up for it sets up for the next phase in the Marvel phases. And this, to me, is really cool and real important, because as much as I did like WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, those were really great. What Loki does is it essentially introduces the new Thanos, or the new villain that's going to be going on, that's overarching the entire next phase, you could say. However, I'm just going to put it that way. We're going to put it like that. The next phase. And that's Kang the Conqueror, right? So Kang the Conqueror, he is just a normal dude. I watched some videos, I checked out some things about him. I didn't know much about Kang the Conqueror, right? I know about Thanos, and I think that's why they started with Thanos, and that's why it was a good idea to start with Thanos. He's really popular among people who are casual comic book fans like myself, who've heard stories from other comic book readers, or have kept up to date, but I read comics on and off and things like that. Or if you're just casual moviegoers, it's a big name, and it was something that was really cool to go in. But what some people have said, and kind of what I've agreed with, is Thanos was no one anyone ever really feared. At least I never really feared him, right? He was someone that was hyped. I couldn't wait to see what they were going to do with him, and I think they executed him really well. But we didn't know anything about Thanos until we got to Infinity War, and until we got to Endgame, really. But mainly Infinity War. We learned his story and stuff like that, and people liked him. And they did a good job executing Thanos towards the end. But leading up to him, it was just hypes, and we got snippets of him, this and that, and then we finally see where he goes. But I think, you take Star Wars. Anytime I talk about anything, I'm always going to talk about Star Wars. You take Star Wars, and you take the Emperor, and the Emperor gets introduced really well, because you have Darth Vader, who in A New Hope is this big menace that defeats all the rebels and captures Princess Leia, and then tortures Princess Leia, and he's almost like an unstoppable force. And then you have that guy, who you think is the main villain, bow to someone else. He's got a boss. Oh wow, people up in the Death Star work up in a corporate ladder. So with Thanos, the real time when we get to see him talk is with Loki, and Loki kind of isn't afraid of him. Because Loki's going to want to do his own thing, and he disrespects Thanos, and Thanos doesn't do anything really. He doesn't really demand respect from Loki, and so it gives off this vibe that he can be pushed around. He's not someone to be feared as much. And what they really did really well in this show, with Loki, the TV show. I know it's getting confusing because I'm saying his name a lot. But with Loki, the TV show, what they did really well was they made us scared of Kang the Conqueror, right? So you get to the last episode of Loki, and then Sylvie and Loki meet Kang, or the one, how did they say it? The one left remaining, the one who survived, the one who may remain. The last one. The one that survived the multiverse wars, and it's keeping the timeline in a fixed loop. So you meet him, and you realize, there's this whole drama between Sylvie and Loki, but Loki can't do anything against him. He's literally untouchable. They can't land a single blow on him until, you know, Sylvie lands the final blow, but they can't land a single blow on him. And he is able to get what he wants out of them. And Loki realizes this, and Loki becomes afraid. And we see this fear in Loki whenever he goes back to what he assumes is his previous timeline, or his original timeline that he was at before, with, you know, Owen Wilson. Was it Tobias? I feel like that's wrong. Mobius? Yeah, Mobius. And he is like, oh, dude, this guy's on a whole nother level, right? And how we get there is really from the start of episode 1, especially whenever they take the Infinity Stones and they make them paperweight, and they show, okay, well, this was the thing that Thanos needed. This was the thing that Thanos wanted the most to make him essentially a god in the first phases, you know, up until Infinity War and Endgame. And it's what our heroes needed to defeat this guy, and they are absolutely useless to Kang the Conqueror. Like, they have no effect on him. They won't affect him. He's beyond the Infinity Stones. So right off the bat, we see that, okay, we're in a new realm. We're in a new realm in the idea that we are facing with an entirely new threat that is going to dwarf the old one. Is going to dwarf Thanos, right? And Loki realizes this, and I think through Loki we see this, and that's what excites me, is that we got this new person that we get to learn all about, and we get him so early on. And I think what's really honestly great about the last episode of Loki is the fact that it does just one conversation. It is just an exposition dump. And when I was on my podcast with Jeff, that, you know, he explains that how great that is, and it wasn't just like this action-filled moment where fight scenes and all this crazy stuff was going on. It was exposition explaining. It was, you know, it's 40 minutes of a guy talking, and you're intrigued because you've spent the whole season trying to learn, trying to figure out what he is and what he is trying to do. And when we get back to the TVA, he already has a statue in place. He's already in control of the one place that's been in control of the dimensions or the universes, the different areas. And that's crazy. That's wild, right? And what's that mean? You know, he's called Kang the Conqueror. What's going to happen next? And so that's got me really excited, and it's got me wanting to see what they're going to do. And right now, at the time of this video, you know, the What If series has started. And I'm getting into that, and I'm watching that. And I wonder if they're going to pull from the What If. I doubt it because it's animated. But I think Loki showed us and set up the building blocks for the What If. And I think that's their whole intention, right? Like they did it with WandaVision, how she was opening the dimensions, or she created her own pocket reality. And then now with Loki and having him jump through time and time traveling and explaining it all. And I love the way that they explained it, honestly. How everything is really taking place in the present. You know, you got to imagine it as if you're sitting back and you're watching a bunch of TV screens, kind of like in The Matrix 2 when Neo meets that one old guy in the room. And he's just looking at all the TV screens of the different Neos doing different things, because we shouldn't think of time as a line where there's one point and then another point. We should be seeing time as just a fixed screen. And it's going on. And that's how they did it, and that's how all these branching things are going off. So it's a whole nother world, right? Whereas before we had Earth, and then we expanded to the galaxy, but now we're going bigger. Everything's just getting bigger, and is making everything else look smaller. And I think that's a good move. I think that's a fantastic move. And the fact that they introduced Kang so early on, I mean, you could say it's early on. It took 3 TV shows to get there, but early in comparison to Thanos, that he came in and he explains what's going to happen, and he kind of already said the ending. He says, hey, you kill me, I'm just going to be back here anyways. The war is going to happen, I'm just going to get back here. So really, I want to see if that's what's going to happen. I like theories and things like that, but I do want to see the journey they're going to take with this, and so it gets me real excited. And I think Loki did a great job in revitalizing the MCU. Not that it needed it, but to show us, hey, we're still not out of ideas, and it's not, it's not jumping the shark just yet, or at least I hope not. So, those are my thoughts on Loki. Tell me your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Did Loki get you excited for the new phase in the Marvel universe, or are you burnt out? Are you tired of all these episodic movies and things like that? Because now you got to keep up with TV shows. Now it's not just keeping up with movies, 2-hour movies. Now you got to keep up with 8-hour TV shows. So let me know. And if you want to hear my opinion, I try to keep up with the comment sections. I like to reply back, but you can always catch me live on my Twitch channel, which is also in the link below. Hit me up there. I discuss with chat all the time, and if we ever want to talk up something and talk up things, we love to do it, and we love to have these discussions. But until next time, play nice.